Today I'm at Sue's Pond, and I'm super excited about today's video. We're going to be talking about 5 more extinct birds that you should know about. You might hear some chaos around me. That's because there are tons of gulls, tons of geese, tons of birds. I used to do these videos in voiceover, but it seems like a lot of you don't really tune in or like the voiceover videos. So I decided that we're going to do more of a little bit of a hybrid type video. I'm gonna be out birding and I'm gonna be talking about 5 extinct birds that you should know about. So this should be an awesome time. Let's see what we can find and let's talk about some amazing extinct birds. All right, so the first extinct bird that I wanna talk about at number 5, it's a family of birds called Ferocerhacidae. I butchered that, I'm sorry. They're also known as giant terror birds. Giant terror birds were absolutely amazing. They ranged from 3 feet tall to 10 feet tall. They lived in North and South America during the Cenozoic period. I can't even imagine seeing a gigantic 10-foot tall carnivorous bird. That would be absolutely terrifying. These birds were absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, they went extinct a long time ago. Just an amazing bird. This list is gonna get progressively more awesome, so make sure you stick around. Let's see what birds we can find in the meantime. All right, so we picked up some cool birds. First bird of the day is a yellow-headed blackbird. Those birds just moved back in from their migration grounds. Absolutely amazing to see them here. We also picked up some ringneck ducks. Briefly in the top of the shot was a ruddy duck that dove in, but some ringneck ducks out in the water. Those are gonna be moving on soon further north. And then obviously the loudest bird here, California gulls, hundreds of them. Absolutely amazing. A lot of them are out in the water. There's a landfill back here, so a lot of them are on the landfill as well. So just an absolutely amazing group of birds that we've seen so far. But let's talk about our next extinct animal real quick. All right, so the next bird that I want to talk about is the laughing owl. And the laughing owl was endemic to New Zealand, and when European colonizers arrived in 1845, it was absolutely plentiful. However, by 1914, the owl was super rare and almost extinct. It's absolutely crazy that it only took European colonizers less than 100 years to wipe out this animal. The owl was a yellowish brown color, and it would feed on geckos, other birds, bugs, and giant insects. And then when rats and mice were introduced to the island, it also fed on those as well. The last known appearance or sight of an owl was in 1914. However, a lot of people claim to have seen the owl all the way up into the 1960s. The introduction of cats and stoats to the island was detrimental to the laughing owl and made sure that it didn't stand a chance, as they preyed on the laughing owl and took it out completely. I just picked up a common raven to add to the list for today, so that's pretty cool that we saw that bird. Not super uncommon like its name suggests, but still a cool bird to find. We're going to continue walking and see what else we can find and talk about more extinct birds. All right, the next extinct bird that I want to talk about is absolutely amazing. It's such a cool bird. It's called the moa. This was a 13-foot tall flightless bird that was endemic to New Zealand. However, there were no people on the island, and so the bird didn't need to learn how to avoid them. So in 1300, when the Maori people arrived, the bird was hunted to extinction shortly after. Its only predator on the island was the Haast's eagle, which was a giant eagle. This bird went extinct as well. Maybe we can talk about it in the next episode. I'm sure that one interests you guys a lot. But the bird was considered extinct shortly after the arrival of humans in the area. By 1445, it was assumed that there were no more left. However, there have been sightings all the way into the 1800s of giant emu-like birds walking on the island, and of course there are some people still out there that believe that it's still hiding in the Fiordland forest out on New Zealand. So what an amazing bird. It would be so cool to see one of those. However, I'm chalking this down as an extinct creature for sure. Just picked up American robin to add to the list as well, so it's a great bird to get. Obviously not super rare or anything, but the common birds are really cool too, so I'm not upset about it. We're gonna head back to the pond and see if we can pick up anything else and continue to talk about 2 more absolutely amazing extinct birds. We picked up distance shots of a black-billed magpie, which is a beautiful bird. Beautiful to see. That contrasting blackish bluish bird with that white is absolutely amazing. We also picked up a western meadowlark singing up in a tree for a brief second. So seeing a good variety of birds here today. Let's see if we can pick up anything new or a first of the year species as well. So the next extinct bird that I want to talk about was a North American species known as the Labrador Duck. The last known specimen of a Labrador duck that was alive was in 1878 in New York. Not much is known about this duck because by the time colonizers arrived in the Americas, the duck was already rare. So we're not exactly sure what happened to it. However, we do know that it may have bred on Labrador or in Labrador. Audubon's son has been quoted saying that he saw a nest of Labrador ducks in Labrador, so that's why they got their name. The duck exclusively fed on mollusks, which is probably one of the reasons why it went extinct. When you're a bird and you only feed on one item and that item starts to decline either naturally or through human intervention, it's very easy for species to go extinct that way if they can't generalize. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons the Labrador duck went extinct, although we're not exactly sure why it was already declining. Labrador ducks were known for not tasting good at all, so it wasn't human hunting that caused these birds to go extinct. So it's very interesting how a creature like the Labrador duck couldn't adapt to its environment and eventually just ended up going extinct in the late 1800s. Picked up a fan favorite, some sandhill cranes flying by. Absolutely amazing birds. I really like their call, the little... Never mind, that was terrible. Don't ask me to mimic birds, I'm not that good at it. We're heading back to the pond, seeing what else we can find, and talk about one more extinct species. The last bird I want to talk about is a much more recent extinction. It's the pouli, also known as the Hawaiian Blackfaced Honeycreeper. This bird was endemic to the island of Hawaii, and you may have guessed it, island birds do not do well when they're faced with extinction. New Zealand, Hawaii, a lot of island birds end up getting wiped out pretty easily when introduced species like rats end up coming to the island. What's pretty sad about this bird is that it wasn't discovered until 1973, just about 50 years ago, which is absolutely crazy. It was also discovered by a group of students from the University of Hawaii, and it was discovered in very high elevations as well. After the bird was discovered, unfortunately, it actually declined very rapidly, and Hawaii tried a lot of things to stop its decline. They built preserves for the bird, and they tried to capture remaining species to create a captive breeding program, but unfortunately those captive breeding programs did not end up working. Mosquito diseases and habitat loss eventually led to its demise in the end. By 1997, there was only 3 known surviving poulis on the entire island. 2004 was actually the last known sighting of the pouli, and unfortunately it was declared extinct in 2019, just a couple years ago. And I think the US Fish and Wildlife Service, they declared it extinct in 2023, just last year. So it's very unfortunate that we lost this bird. We discovered it fairly recently, and we already lost it fairly recently. I think it's really easy for us to fantasize about these extinct birds that went extinct hundreds of years ago, like the giant terror bird or the moa, for example. But we have birds going extinct every single day around the world. It's very important that we push our policymakers to help protect our species that are so important to our ecosystems, to be around for the future generations to see them as well. Hopefully you were able to hear me okay in this video. I am working on trying to purchase and invest in a nice mic for future videos. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite extinct bird discussed in this video, or what extinct bird should I talk about in the future? As you can see, I've got the Bright-Eyed Birding merch on. This is going to become available when I hit my year mark. The year anniversary of the channel is April 30th, so stay tuned for that. We've got shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers, a whole bunch of great stuff coming out for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding.